Greetings, dear friends, fellow programmers, and those aspiring to be. Welcome back to Marko's Code Academy. Today we will be talking about a very important topic that became very relevant in the past few years. I'm talking about remote work. In this video, I will do my best to share all of my experiences and tips that I can share with you that might help you become a way better and more productive remote worker. Basically, the sole purpose of this video is to help you become a thriving programmer while working remotely from home. What made me film this video is the fact that in my previous experiences I have encountered so many different people who were struggling with remote work for different reasons, but basically I wanted to compile all of my experiences and things that should be regarded as very important while working as a remote developer, and to put them in a single video so that everyone can reach this material and learn from it, and hopefully get a lot of benefits. Of course, this is all because I love working remotely from the deepest parts of my heart. Like, from this point, I cannot even imagine going back to the office and working from there, because I managed to build my life around the freedom of being able to work from home and basically do what I love in circumstances that I feel really comfortable with. And I would really like if I was able to help you, my friend, achieve that same level of freedom and happiness in life. So let's get started with things you can do to make your entire remote working experience as optimized and as pleasant as possible. The first thing is setting up your work environment. This point is very straightforward. For your working hours, you want to have a designated part of your house or a segment of a room that is dedicated just to your work. You do not want to be working from your bed or to work from your living room where you're used to enjoying, relaxing, and getting your me time in place. For example, here is a sneak peek of my working environment and how I like to set it up. So why am I saying this? Well, basically, there were a lot of studies that were conveyed, and the results of those studies were very interesting because they all came out to be with same results, which are that our brains like to connect certain locations with activities that we perform in those locations. So why did I say it would not be a good thing to work from your bed? Well, there are two reasons mainly. The first one, if you are doing something productive from your bed, you will first of all make your sleeping schedule worse, because your brain is going to start thinking all of a sudden that you're not supposed to be sleeping, you're supposed to be working, because in your sleeping environment, you're not supposed to be working or performing any kind of mental or physical labor. And there is the flip side of that same coin, which is your productivity will go way down because your brain is already used to sleeping in that same room, and it is not going to be ready to be working as hard and as concentrated as it would in areas that are dedicated just to work. This is the main reason why you want to have a dedicated corner of your room, if you do not have an entire room for your office, which is going to be connected in your brain that this is where we are productive and focused, and we do not think about distractions. And that is how we will skyrocket our performance. I mean, it's not going to be day and night difference, but definitely the difference will be there. And also, while we are on the subject of your working environment, it's very important that you keep it very clean and minimalistic. Because while we are working, even more so while not motivated to work, any detail that can grab our attention will do that. So that is why so many people are recommending, while you are focused working, you should not have your phone around, you should not have like papers all over, you should have your desk as clean and tidy and covered with only the stuff you need and you are using right now. That way you will have the least amount of distractions, and by doing that you're reducing the chances of your attention going somewhere else other than work. So your productivity must be better. What I also started doing and found a lot of benefit in was to use applications that are going to restrict feeds on your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube feeds. So basically when you open them, you can search for something, but you get no posts, no news, no latest and greatest. Basically, when I subconsciously open any of those applications, I'm greeted by an empty space. And that was like a click moment for me to remind me that I did something that I was not supposed to. And of course, you can always shut down this functionality whenever you like, for as long as you like. So when you think through the fact that you want to take a look at the feed, that means that you're making a conscious decision and not doing something to just fidget around. You do not want that for sure. The second point of the day is going to be dedicated to staying organized. I cannot stress this thing enough. In my personal experiences, I benefited so much from the fact that I did my best never to miss a meeting, never to be late for anything or to miss a deadline or to be slow to respond to messages, that people always knew that I'm the person who's always online and always around, even when I was not. Because I built that kind of relationship and everybody knew that I was getting my job very seriously. And when working remotely, all the people might be open to doubting about you actually doing the work. And when you do your part and you show them that you are really hardworking and organized and always there, their doubts will be gone. Then what is also very essential for organization is utilizing tools that are going to help you always be on track with your tasks. For this, I usually use Todoist because it's the simplest one to build your day and to introduce all the tasks you need to perform. It's easy to make recurring tasks, it's easy to schedule notifications and things of those sorts, but you can use whatever you like. You can use Trello boards, you can use Notion, you can use whatever suits your needs the best. Just spend a day investigating different tools that are going to be allowing you to never forget a single deadline, a single chore, or anything like that. Once you get used to tracking your chores, you are going to be on an amazing journey of never forgetting any of your tasks. And when it comes to my personal projects, where you have a gazillion things to do, I usually like to create an Excel sheet where I basically track all the things that I need to do, different stages, and for those different stages, I might even have a separate Excel sheet. For example, what I always do is for testing phases, I tend to hire a few people that are going to be testing the application, and I have an Excel file where they post their findings and their issues they found in columns dedicated to certain pages. So it is up to you to figure out what works best for you and your personal organizational preferences. But it is very important to have this in mind and do your best to always be on track. Now, let me give you an example. I want to share with you how my Todoist app looks right now, because right now I'm in the final stages of creating my personal website dedicated to Marko's Coding Academy. And as you can see, we have a lot of tickets where each ticket is called like a page, and in those tasks, you have a set of subtasks which are dedicated to things that need to be implemented on those pages. And of course, as you can see, I have regular stuff like pay utilities, I have stuff like have a PR reviewed or something like that, but basically I'm tracking my day. And it is very important to be very careful about the amount of stuff you want to push into your day, so you basically pick up the right amount. That is important because you will probably not feel so great if you decided to put in 10 tickets in your day and you manage to complete only 2 by the end of the day. So try to be realistic, practice your scheduling and your estimations of tasks, and you will be on the right track. And here is also the image of the Excel sheet that I was talking about for the testing of application, just so you know how it looks like. Then we have our point number 3, which is communication is the key. One of the biggest challenges of working remotely is actually building strong relationships with people, because you're not in the office standing by those people, and it is way more difficult to build lasting relationships and quality communication between colleagues. And I think this is really essential because you want to build that kind of relationship even though you are offline. You are online but away from the office and from people in real life. And to do this, you need to be very well prepared. One of the easiest things you can do is to be always online and always available, of course, within your working hours. And when you are always there for people and you're eager to help out and reach to them, they will kind of build a strong, lasting relationship with you, and they will have trust in you because you will seem like a very professional person who takes their job seriously. And while we're on this subject, I have a personal story that you might find interesting. So I was working in this outsourcing company in Serbia, and we were of course working remotely for a client in Netherlands. And one of my colleagues was basically always heading out, he was doing chores within working hours, and don't get me wrong, everybody does that. And we as a team had internal discussion where we decided that we can cover for each other, but we just need to tell each other within the team that we have to head out, for example, half an hour, and then everybody else can cover for that person if anything turns up. And this colleague of mine was always going out, even without saying that he was going out. And we had no idea what to say once that there was a huge incident that was created by that person and they were not online. So everybody started bringing a lot of alertness in the company about the fact that that colleague of mine was not online, even though it was within the working hours. And we knew nothing, so we were not able to cover for him. And in that situation, he went through hell and he barely kept his workplace because it was not a very professional thing to do. So this story was just so you would know not to get into those situations. You can put as many different mechanisms in place that are going to make it virtually like you're always online, even though you might do whatever you like. For example, I was building my house for years now while working remotely. So basically, I would just pull out my laptop, connect to my Wi-Fi in the backyard, and work and do stuff about my backyard. I would be growing plants, making my garden, doing things of those sorts while working. And whenever anybody would reach out, I would be there because laptop is right beside me, just waiting for me to respond. So yeah, it is important to be there and take this seriously. Then we have point number 4, which is going to be boost productivity. So it should be your main goal to boost your productivity as high as possible. Because if you are able to do everything that is expected of you in your day-to-day job in like 4 hours, then you have 4 free hours that you can use for whatever you like. In my case, I was trying to optimize everything so I would get as much time as possible that I can dedicate to my YouTube channel, to my personal projects, to side hustles, just to make everything in my life exactly like I want it. I mean, at some points I needed a lot more money that I was earning at a single job, so I was working multiple jobs, or I was building personal projects, or whatever at the moment, but I had the flexibility to make that happen because I was taking my productivity very seriously and I was trying to optimize everything to squeeze every last minute out of my day. And for this, you can use many different approaches. So the easiest thing you can do is to pay attention about your productivity gadgets. For example, my mouse, keyboard, noise-canceling headphones, dual monitors, and things of those sorts are just like something you can pay with money for and improve your productivity substantially, because you will just invest your money once and get the benefits of it for many years, because you are earning money with those things. And I think it's the best idea to do that investment. Of course, not overdoing it. Then what you can do is utilize things like Pomodoro Technique, which allows you to make blocks of your time dedicated just to hyper-focused work. In my case, I like to set it up for 25 minutes of focused work and then 5 minutes of relaxation. During those 25 minutes, I tend to not get distracted at all, or at least minimize my distractions as much as possible. And within those 5 minutes, I like to do whatever feels like most refreshing and recuperating thing for my brain and my mental capabilities. So I head out to my backyard, I play with my dogs, I go for a quick walk, I do some quick exercises, I head out to make a cup of coffee or whatever. But what should you avoid in those cases is staring at your cell phone, because you will keep straining your eyes, or watching TV or something like that. I mean, you can do those things, they will regenerate your mental capabilities, but your eyes will be strained still. And of course, to boost your productivity, there is a gazillion other things you can do, because everything that is happening in your life affects your productivity. Your health, your sleep, your behavior, your food, your exercising behaviors, everything in your life affects your productivity. And you should strive towards improving those parameters so your productivity would always go up. And then we have point number 5, which is balancing work and life. And this one is a very common struggle point for people, because I know so many people who tend to struggle to figure out when should they stop working, or their bosses ask them to perform a simple task out of their working hours, which turns into a few additional hours of work. And your life tends to shrink, and you do not want that. You want to set very strict boundaries, and when it comes to your working hours, close your laptop and then focus on your life. This means, of course, if you did something wrong and you made some huge mistake, which is your fault, then you should feel obligated to fix it. But if it is not your fault, companies, even more so companies that are not well organized, tend to always have things that are of very, very high priority that needs to be done right away, even though it happens all the time and there is no real rush happening. So you yourself need to be very careful about not allowing companies to do that to you. You want to be very strict and set very strict boundaries and make sure that your family and your personal life does not pay the price. What I also recommend doing here is not installing communication channels on your cell phone, so that once you close your laptop, you have no idea what's happening on your job, and you should not be worried about it for sure. And if you do want to do it, you can maybe turn off notifications on your phone for that application at given times. You can do that with phones nowadays. Also, do not connect your email for business with your email client, so you do not receive your business emails on your private email account. Basically, the main point here, it is a job and it should be treated as such. You are working to get paid, and if you do want to work longer hours, you do get paid for it, and somebody appreciates your efforts, then it is your decision to do it and decide whether you want to do it or not. But what I'm saying is, if you do not get the appreciation, you do not get the gratitude, you do not get paid for it, maybe you should not be doing it. That's my personal experience again. That's how I managed to see things in the 8 years of working for companies, because I always felt like nobody was appreciating me staying longer hours, working really hard, giving 110% of my efforts to deliver something, because it's just work, and you're supposed to do that. Then we come to point number 6, which is dedicated to our health. And this one is very easily neglected and very dangerous, because we're sitting all day and working from home, which means we're not even obligated to head out to go to the office and walk around the office. We have our office space in our living rooms or wherever in our house, and we do not have to do anything physically in order to deliver everything for our jobs. And that is a huge problem. Our bodies are not meant to be sedentary so much. We're supposed to be moving and be active in order for our bodies to be physically strong and to be able to allow us to be mentally very active. I mean, it might sound counterintuitive, but our mental and physical aspects of our bodies are very closely connected. So if your physical body is in poor shape, your mental capacities will definitely not be on 100% of your potential. You can trust me on that 100%. So you definitely do want to ensure that you are at least walking a few times a week for at least an hour, and also you are paying very close attention to your food and not eating junk food, drinking a lot of sodas or snacks or things of those sorts, because your productivity, your mental health, and your physical health will all suffer if you do that. For me personally, I was struggling because for me, job and projects that I work on are higher priority than working out. I was testing out so many different systems to include working out in my days, and whenever there was a rush situation, high pressure for something for work or projects, I would always neglect and push out my workouts. And that's not a good thing. So I was trying first to work out for 1 hour, 5 days a week. I figured that's too much time to spend for working out. Then I reduced it to about 40 minutes to half an hour, and that was okay-ish, but still I would prefer if it could be less. So I reduced it to about 20 minutes, and still when I had high priority things to work on, I would again neglect even those 20 minutes. So finally what I did is, in those Pomodoro blocks of 5 minutes of rest, I would do quick 3 series of one exercise, and basically because I'm doing like 12, 13, 15, 16 Pomodoro blocks during a day, I do a lot of working out. Because, I do not do it on every break, but I try to squeeze in at least 5 workout sessions in those 5-minute breaks. And that works out perfectly for me. So it might not be perfect for you, but just be proactive about it, try to figure out what works for you and your schedule the best, and then stick to it. And finally, point number 7 is dedicated to personal projects and side hustles. So, as I already mentioned, I love working remotely because it allowed me to skyrocket the output that I can give, because I'm able to do everything that I'm supposed to for my regular job within 2 to 4 hours, and then I have free 4 to 6 hours that I can use however I like for my personal projects, my personal brand, or some side hustles to earn additional money, which gave me so much freedom and so much flexibility to improve my quality of life and also grow as a professional in uncomparable way when compared to time when I was working from the office. So now that we covered all of those, it is time to wrap things up. As you probably have figured out so far, working remotely can be extremely beneficial if you do your job right. So if you keep your workspace clean and tidy and have a separate area for work, if you pay attention to your health, both mental and physical, and if you pay attention to your professionalism, to your productivity, organization, and communication with other people, I think you will be on a great path to success. Of course, this is not a model for everyone. Not everybody likes working alone from their own homes. It is a personal thing, subjective thing, that can be fit for somebody but not for somebody else. So, if you enjoyed this video and found the discussion useful, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel and maybe browse the library of other videos we have uploaded so far and maybe find something you will find useful as well. Until the next video, thank you for watching and have an amazing day.